I just had almost a 2-hour conversation with former Antichrist Zack Knight on Skype. And the first thing I would like to say is that there was a major, the Jesuits shot a super Nukkake to the earth, and it ricocheted back to the origination point of the Jesuit space fleet, which was out in deep space in Satan's ocean. In the Bible, in Genesis 1, there is the waters above the firmament, that's Satan's ocean. And the Jesuit space fleet was out there, and the super Nukkake ricocheted back onto Zack Knight and the Jesuits. All the Jesuits out there died, with the exception of Angelina Ballerina, Rule 13, and Zack Knight. Zack Knight, actually, Rule 13 drowned and died. Then Zack jumped into the sperm, and he resuscitated her with CPR, and he saved her life. And then he got caught away by the like a wave of sperm, and he ended up getting encapsulated in a semen bubble inside the ocean. It's huge. The super Nukkake was very big. And Rule 13 ended up being in a spacecraft with Angelina Ballerina. And she said, we've got to go in there and save Zack Knight before he gets so encased that we can't take him out. And then Angelina Ballerina hit Rule 13 with a frying pan, giving her a concussion, and kicked her away. And then my men her little space pod was whirling away, and my men rescued her, and she told us what happened. Then Angelina Ballerina went into Zack Knight and made love to him and said that she tried to make love to him. She just said that she loved him and that Rule 13 had died. She didn't tell. And then Satan came in later and told Zack Knight the same thing. My men told me what happened, and using the power of the Gail shield, I decided to speak with Zack brain to brain to see if I could reach him, and I did. I managed to have a brain-to-brain conversation with him. That was the subject of my last video. And I led Zack Knight to the Lord Jesus Christ. I just said, Zack Knight, God doesn't expect you to be perfect. Just come to him as you are, admit you're a sinner, and you chose for love because you risked your life for Rule 13. And Zack Knight said when he thought Rule 13 was dead, he at that point wanted Rule 13 more than he wanted to be the Antichrist. So I led him to the Lord, and he's now on Jesus's side. And Angelina Ballerina is now the new leader of sort of a resurrected Jesuit order, and she is also the Antichrist. So Zack Knight has lost his Antichrist powers. Angelina Ballerina, I have lightning bolt powers, and I've been using my special power shoes on her, and she's spinning in space in the deep ocean right now. But before she did that, she has already started her reign of terror as the Antichrist. She came here in Florida, and there's a previous video of mine about that, and attacked, demolished an airport, set stores on fire, and she has very strong seductive powers, and everybody started coming after her. And she's right now in the semen ocean, trolling around like a top, but eventually she's going to stop, and then she's going to try to come back to Earth. And Zack Knight says he knows that when she comes back, she's going to try to kill everybody. And she doesn't care. Jesus said she's 1,000 times more evil than Zack Knight. I've gotten to know Zack. In fact, I've added him to my marriage list. I've made him number 3 along with Rule 13, and I made brain-to-brain loving with him. When I led him to the Lord, he took a course in semen engineering, and he was able to construct a computer, a microphone, and like build himself a little apartment inside a semen bubble. And he was able to become one of my Skype contacts, and he contacted Terrence Jenkins, and then Terrence Jenkins had him hook up to me, and I just had a conversation with him. But we'll see what happens after. Let me explain it. Okay, so this is what Zack says. He says that the world is in a very serious position right now. The only way we can stop Angelina Ballerina, who is the new Antichrist and is very powerful, Zack said he has to get out of his semen bubble. The problem with the semen bubble, then I led Rule 13 to Jesus. Okay, so Rule 13 became a Jesus follower. When that happened, Angelina rushed out to space and was going to try to kill Zack Knight. So Church of Gail went out after her, and we found Zack Knight, and using a tractor beam, we found his semen bubble. Church of Gail can go under the water, above the water. So we used a tractor beam to bring his semen bubble onto Church of Gail. It's being held with a force field. If the semen bubble touches any of the sides of Church of Gail, then everybody in Church of Gail will get sucked into the semen bubble, and they probably would all die. So we've got to get him out of the semen bubble. And it seems like there's only one way we can do it. And that is, they're thinking of hitting it with a spermicide bullet, which will, because the spermicide bullet is an anti-semen maker, which will transform the semen into another substance. And what happens when you hit Jesuit semen with a spermicide bullet, it converts the semen into a benign substance, like a gas. And there'll first be a bright flash of light, and Zack Knight said that the ionosphere and magnetosphere need to be slowed down so that he can have a brief time window that he can escape right after the spermicide bullet hits the sperm and then before it explodes. And there's a chance he could escape during that brief time. But the only way we can get that time window is if the spermicide bullet hits the semen bubble in the Earth's atmosphere. It has to be on Earth, or he won't have that time window. If we hit Zack Knight with a spermicide bullet like out in deep space, he would just die like this. And he said, we're not going to be able to defeat Angelina unless Zack can get out of his his semen bubble. So there's a big risk. He could die. He's going to die no matter what, he said, as long as he's in this semen bubble, because it's being suspended with force fields inside Church of Gail. If it just jiggles and touches one of the walls in Church of Gail, then everybody in Church of Gail is going to die, and he's going to die. Everybody's just going to get sucked in. It's some sort of physics thing here. So they have to cause the explosion to happen in Earth's atmosphere, where the ionosphere and magnetosphere can be slowed down enough where he'll have that time window where he can escape. It's going to give our men at Church of Gail a split second between the time the semen is gone and Zack is incinerated. And during that time window, he's hoping he can get out before he's incinerated. Okay, the problem with this is it's risky, not just for Zack, but for the people on Earth. You may say, well, why do we have to do this? Because it's the only way we can defeat Angelina. She's already started her killing spree. She's very powerful, almost like the Gail android. And Zack said he's got to get out of his semen bubble or we will not be able to defeat her. There's a lot of risk. Zack could die and everybody on Earth could die as well. And it could scorch the whole Earth. But then if we wait, we're going to die anyways, because Angelina Ballerina, Jesus said she's 1,000 times more evil than Zack, and Zack says he knows that she plans on killing everybody on Earth. She doesn't care. Because she can survive, I guess, no matter where she is. Maybe she's going to try to use cloning technology to resurrect a new Jesuit race or something. So here's what Zack said. He said they're going to try to do it tonight. So you could possibly be dead within 24 hours. When the flash happens, you must not look at it or you could go blind. And men out there, cover your balls, your testicles, with lead because you could become infertile from the radiation. Okay? So my men will probably supply you with that. And you should call your friends and your loved ones and let them know that you might die and say your goodbyes just in case. Okay? They're planning on doing it tonight. Zack says he's going to die for sure if he doesn't do it. Because, like I said, we've got a semen bubble inside Church of Gail. If it touches one of the walls of Church of Gail, everybody on Church of Gail dies, including Zack Knight. Everybody's going to get sucked into that semen bubble, and everybody's just going to, I guess, drown in semen. I think it causes a semen ocean to come out here. So it's just a bad case scenario. And Angelina Ballerina is very evil. She's the new Antichrist, and we have to stop her, or we're all going to die anyway. So pray. Pray. He's now a believer. I told him to say Romans 8:28 over and over again. So I want you all to pray that God's will be done as we attempt. I prayed about it, and the Lord seemed to give me peace that we should go ahead and try to do this. So let's just pray that God's will be done, okay? We cannot afford to let Angelina Ballerina take over the earth, and we got to try to save Zack Knight so he can help us to defeat her. I asked Zack what his motives were for doing this. He said, well, he'd like to see Rule 13 again. He died to try to save her. So he told me to make this video and let the world know. And again, when the flash happens, don't look at the sky. You could go blind. And guys, put lead over your balls. So I think I've said the most important stuff. I've gotten to know Zack Knight. We had brain-to-brain loving last night, and he was an awesome lover. He was apologizing to me, and we had a big, long talk about his new walk with Jesus. And I said, Zack, Jesus just takes you where you're at. He knows you're not perfect. He says, well, I still like to do like dirty pranks on people, and I still like to be kind of bad. But I did say that prayer, and he said, I did have peace in my heart after I said it. And I said, Jesus will work with you where you're at, Zack. He knows you're not perfect. I said, just honor the love in your heart when you feel it, and feed it, and try to be a loving person, and Jesus will like that. But he knows he doesn't expect you to be perfect. He understands. He's going to take you where you're at, and you're going to grow from there. That is if he lives after tonight. Okay, guys, let's all pray. And if you're alive after this, keep following the Gail commandments. It may help us to, it may help you to stay healthy. Oh, he told me that that I needed to follow the Gail commandments, not to try to save the earth, but just to protect me. He said that I'm straining the Gail shield. I was really surprised to hear that. Anyways, you guys, this is what I need to say. Something major is going to happen in the next 24 hours, so just get ready.